Cesare Beccaria's influence and exchange of ideas shaped the field of criminology during his own time period and in the following centuries. Cesare Beccaria was an Italian philosopher and criminologist. He worked on reforming the justice system. He wanted greater rights for criminal defendants. Caesar was born on March 15, 1738. At the age of 8, he was sent to Jesuit school in Parma. He then described the education that he got as fanatical. At the age of 16, he married Teresa Blasco. Then he received a degree in law from the University of Pavia in 1758. Beccaria wasn't exposed to criminal law until 1763, and that was because Pietro Verri suggested that he should undertake a critical study of the criminal law. In 1762, his writings first appeared, but during the 18th century, he had joined Pietro Verri for the organization of literary social, and he also participated in its affairs. He also contributed to several anonymous essays in the English periodical The Spectator.
Cesare Beccaria's success. Cesare Beccaria accepted the suggestion from Pietro Verri to undertake the critical study of criminal law in 1763, although he had no experience with criminal justice. In the following year, his great work on crimes and punishments was published in 1764. Immediately, Beccaria, as only a 26-year-old, became an international celebrity. His work had a remarkable success in France, and in 1766, his work was translated to English, German, Polish, and Dutch in only 6 months. The first American edition was published in 1777, and since then, translation in many other languages have appeared. Beccaria's written work was the first brief and organized statement of principles governing criminal punishment. Most people would argue that his work was a major advance in criminological thought. His focus in his book was to change what he called barbaric practices of his day, which were the use of torture and brutal and degrading punishments. He argued that penalties should be scaled to the importance of the offense. He was the first modern writer to formally put an end to capital punishments. Beccaria's work influenced the criminal law reform throughout Western Europe. Legislative reforms in Russia and Sweden were also influenced by his work, and legislations in many American states reflect Beccaria's thoughts.
Modern criminology. During the 18th century, the modern criminology was based on how they would take control of the order. Back then, in the pre-modern times, the punishments were dispensed according to the leaders and to their lords. The punishments that they had was violence against the society being involved. In that case, the people are given the crime, and within that crime, they are determined by the laws into what they have to obey. In the pre-modern periods, the people had a choice into their own actions, such as Cesare Beccaria. He had to take his own actions based on criminology. Criminology is to be held onto their actions and based, for they cannot commit to any other crimes. How criminology was back then in the modern times and how it can be compared to now is different because of how the criminology is with violence and how it changes time by their law. In the modern times, they burn to death and how they are in a situation that crime was in. And it can be compared to this because it's a punishment and they're likely to either get violence or being tortured by other types of persons.